All right, everybody, welcome back to the Move podcast, brought to you by Patron Tequila. I'm Lance Armstrong, sitting beside JB Hager and George Hincapie, talking about stage 14, 117 kilometers from Alain.
Stage 14 is Tarbes to Tourmalet.
Tarbes to Tourmalet.
Tarbes to Tourmalet. The triple T. What just briefly here before we take care of a little business. I mean, this is exciting. I mean, I've been saying it, and I'm of course proving myself wrong because I thought it was going to be boring. But I will give it to the Tourmalet. That side, although the other side is about a 1.5% steeper on average. This tested the guys today. I mean, this was there were bodies everywhere.
You kept mentioning how that side is not hard, and I rode it in 2012. I was in the breakaway with Jens Voigt and busted my ass coming down the other side, and it's a tough climb. No matter what you say, it's maybe not as hard as the La Mongie side, but it's very hard.
La Mongie. Okay, well, let's get in. We'll get into all the happenings of this short stage. I mean, I think that's also what made it. And I just had a message here from Daryl Impey. He was like, "What a day!" Like when somebody that's that strong, just suffering through the bike race, that thinks that says a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, us sitting at home watching TV and sitting here talking about it, we can't.
3-hour day, 3 hours 10 minutes.
But it was also, whatever the time was when they finished, that was the slowest projected finish time, which I thought was interesting. Did you know that, George?
No, I did not.
Based on the race book, that was they give you 3 average speed options for sort of fastest, average, and then slowest, and it was the slowest. Today's show is brought to you by PowerDot, like it is each and every day. Full disclosure, us over at Next Ventures are investors here. We like the company or love the company that much, totally believe in the product. It is the most mobile eSIM unit out there. For as much as we travel and get around, it's really the only thing that works. And couple being 48 years old and travel, it's the ultimate healing recovery device. And starts at $199. The pads, a lot of people ask about the pads, JB, and so obviously you have these sticky pads. They're not one use. You get about 20 to 30 uses out of them, and then the stickiness starts to go away, and you just buy some more pads. But can't say enough about the 2.0 version, and then also sneak peek, the medical device is about to hit the market, which just like the consumer device was a game changer, the medical device will be as equally as so. 20% to all our listeners. Go to powerdot.com/themove. 20% off.
I put it to good use yesterday because after we get done with the show, I'm on the computer for hours, and it's just like my neck and shoulders. Did a couple of sessions. It was great. It was amazing. Amazing. Because you're just sitting like this, hunched
How's
over.
How's your new mountain bike?
My new mountain bike?
Your new mountain bike.
It's freaking awesome.
Yeah. One man's trash is another man's treasure.
Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. I took it out the last 2 days. So, yeah. But, that combined computer time with riding, a little power. Are you
wearing these when you ride?
I am. I love them.
Huh?
I love them.
I mean, how sick are these? In the move, I hope you guys can see. And for y'all at home listening, imagine, right? So I'm wearing this new Roca shade that they made specifically and exclusively for the Move podcast. Got our colors on there, got the orange grips on ear socks on the side, blue and white frames, amazing lens, the forward arrow etched in the center. This company, I love everything they're doing. Started by athletes, for athletes. One of their athletes today, Dan Martin, not such a good day. We'll get into that as we start breaking down the race. But started in a garage in Austin, Texas by people that know what it's like to suffer. And so not only do they make us our exclusive, shade, and by the way, you can buy them as well on their site, which I'll get to in a second, but they're going quick. Higgs told me yesterday that these things are flying. So, and hopefully they make me flying on the 28th. How's this look? Is this a good look?
Double Roca.
Double Roca. Roca squared, right? So to get anything you'd like there, or the Move lens or the Move shades exclusively, go to Roca, ROKA.com/themove. 20% off for our listeners on their first purchase.
For those listening, he thinks nothing of putting his Roka readers over a pair of sunglasses.
And I do it I do it all the time. I'll do it on planes. I'll do it at restaurants, and people will actually walk by and be like,
"Are you okay?"
No, they're like, "That's quite the look," and I'm like, "Whatever, man. It's just yes, I wear sunglasses on airplanes." Anna gives me grief all the time. Like I call it French for disguise is déguisé. So I tell her it's mon déguisé. Jeez, what an exciting day! I mean, like it's and Julian Alaphilippe, it just continues to impress. And he, but by the way, he looked strong too. I mean, you always look at people's faces, their mouths, the body, how the body starts.
Yeah, he looks
breathing, everything.
And he, as guys started to look like they were suffering, he looked good, and he just hung in there.
What would you guys say to Alaphilippe today? Like if you had a moment alone with him and he's in this position, he's stunned everyone. What would you say to him? Something encouraging, I would assume, but what would that be?
Like if you were his director or something?
Yeah, or you're his buddy, that knows him. Like
I think I would tell him he's clearly, and I'm going to get down. I just saw a tweet from Daniel Friebe, but that I'll read to you. But he's clearly on the wave, right? I mean, momentum is a wave, and boy, I mean, I've been in that zone where they can throw anything at you, and it don't matter.
At this point, it's his to lose.
Yeah,
and
he's got to stay on the wave.
Yeah, a lot of the riders are still expecting him. A lot of my boys in the peloton are still expecting him to have one bad day, but honestly, I don't see it coming right now the way he's riding.
Yeah,
and he's still saying in press, taking it day by day, like this is amazing. This one more day in the Jersey, and once we start talking about today's stages, I had some observations on how that, those statements I believe are helping him throughout the stages as well.
Yeah, and he, French guy in France. You saw, I was right about it. I mean, did you see how many people were there on the Tourmalet?
Yeah.
You had the president of France there. I heard that reception was a little chilly. Anyways, check out. So this Daniel Friebe is a journalist. I really like his work, and he's always, not always, but he's most of the time right. He too has a podcast, so he's our competition, but doesn't matter. His Twitter handle is @Friebos, FRIEBOS. So here's what he says: Julian Alaphilippe's best result in a World Tour race / stage featuring a 2,000 meter plus climb is 47th place. At last year's tour, 14 minutes down. In the next week, how many of those climbs are there more than 2,000 meters? 7 of them.
Look, that's an interesting statement. I agree, but Julian Alaphilippe last year was in a completely different role, in a different zone. He was going for stages. He was going for points in the mountain jersey. So a day like that, if he didn't have to go for it, I'm guessing he just sat up and rode in.
The other thing I found interesting as I started to watch is obviously a short day. You got to start the action early, but a lot of people popped like big time on the Soulour, Col de Soulour.
Yep.
People Bardet out the back, Kwiatkowski. I mean, then you start to get into Ineos, which I think is not the same outfit that it has been in the past. I mean, Kwiatkowski dropped, Moscon dropped, Adam Yates dropped.
Walt Pauls dropped on the Tourmalet before he even really started pulling.
Maybe a lot of that's
going on there.
Maybe a lot of that's evidence of just not having the big long climbs. More of these shorter climbs is just taking its toll on the faster pace.
It's a hard climb. It's a drag.
But I mean, over the course of 13 stages, it's just been tough on them. They're beat up.
They're beat up. Not the same.
So let's talk about it. While we're talking about people cracking, we did see Quintana struggle today. George has some theories on that.
Well, I saw Quintana. He got dropped up the Tourmalet while his team is pulling. Mentally, that's got to be very, very tough. But the first thing he did was grab a Coke from a stranger. So what does that indicate? To me, that he is fully bonking.
Wow.
Short stage, 3 hours, probably thinking, okay, it's only a 3 hour day. I don't have to eat as much. But clearly, they were going very fast today. Very hard, pressure on the pedals the whole time. If you see a GC leader grabbing a Coke from a stranger on the side of the road at the Tour de France, you're fully bonking. So I'm guessing he just ran out of fuel and kind of just crawled to the finish line. Lost almost 4 minutes.
But what happens with his team? He got dropped by his team. They were on the front. hammering, and he's going out the back. Like, what happened to the radio communication? Like, hey guys, can you eat?
Yeah, I think we were all blown away by seeing that.
That's
you would think he would have said something. I mean, I know you would have said something. Not that ever really happened, but you can tell your teammates or tell your director, like, hey, let's not put the pressure on. Let's have somebody else do it. Let me recover here for about a kilometer. That can make a huge difference. If he can recover for 1 kilometer, eat something, perhaps he would have been able to stay closer.
Instead,
but
he lost
3 minutes. 3.5 minutes.
And hey, you know what I say about that? Or what you would say is not so profi.
Not so profi.
Not so profi.
No.
Geraint Thomas also out the back. I wouldn't have seen that coming.
No. There was a lot of guys back there swinging, which Richie Port was swinging. Fulsang got dropped a couple of K to go. I mean, a lot of our big favorites came off. I was very impressed by the speed of Jumbo Visma, although I question why they're doing that. They got 3 guys there. They're essentially, in my opinion, today they were riding for the podium, not for the win. Although they put some pressure on Geraint Thomas, but they basically towed Alaphilippe to the line.
Yeah.
I mean, are a lot of people just starting to think about stage wins at this point and not overall?
I mean we don't know what this has been. In my opinion, one of the most exciting tours in a long time.
Yep.
So we don't know. The best part is we don't know what's going to happen. We think that Alaphilippe is going to be able to hold it. I do.
You think that.
But his team is a question. Enric Mas had struggled today. I still think that he's forming alliances within the peloton. There's going to be probably some help from the French teams. You saw today, in my opinion, when Pinot went at the end. I think Alaphilippe could have went with him, but for what? He gave him 5-6 seconds, or perhaps gone with him, beaten him in the sprint, and pissed him off. For the next days.
I want you to elaborate on that, because someone wrote in with a question about that very same thing.
Yeah.
Alaphilippe could have potentially gone with Pinot, but that's the politicking, that's the alliances, you get fate.
He still could have gone with him and let him win.
Well, you saw Alaphilippe looking at Kruiswijk and Bernal in those last 300-400 meters. Once he saw he had them under control, he accelerated to minimize the time that he was going to give Pinot, but he could have accelerated. I would think he could have gone with him when Pinot went. But it was one of those things where, in my opinion, he's trying to get a little love for future stages, because he's going to need some help.
Now that's...
Thibaut Pinot is, without that crosswind day, he's a legit contender. Yeah. I think he's lost.
They seem to be friends. I mean, they're always high-fiving after the finish line. They have a good relationship, obviously. I think those two, if they help each other a bit, they can go a long way.
We saw this video and I want to pull it up, because this is and I always rag on Mark Matteo, and I'm not a fan. But this guy, this is him at the finish line.
Hit it. It's on.
Here's the audio to that.
Unbelievable. What is happening?
Ça, c'est la passion, le cyclisme.
That's over the top. Okay, I've had enough. I've had enough of that.
What's the story with that?
I don't know. Maybe he was hitting the rosé too hard today or something. But tremendous performance.
But for those who don't know, who are we talking about?
So that's
here?
Mark Matt. That's who owns the FDJ team. I mean, that's he's sort of the GM of the.
And that's what was going down when he was watching Pinot.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of old footage of him. In the car during some time. I think the time trial behind the Australian kid.
Bradley Wiggins? Or no, not Brad McGee.
Brad McGee, and then there was another clip of him sitting on his couch watching some race. I mean,
just like that?
Exactly like that. Wow. At home, alone, on the couch, like that.
Hey, I want to come back to the Alaphilippe thing and the FDJ thing, because on previous years you've talked a lot about how much of it is politics in the peloton. Where is Alaphilippe, who doesn't have a Team Ineos behind him? Where does he find what's he doing to find alliances?
First of all, the GM of that team of Quickstep is Patrick Lefevre, who's probably one of the wisest, sagest, saltiest, most experienced. He's old school director, so he's making the rounds for sure, and it's who knows what the exact context is, but Patrick Lefebvre will figure out a way to get him supported.
Like, does he find out what other teams' goals are? Or how can we help you with that?
Well,
and
now,
in turn, will you help Alaphilippe?
They're going to have to start shifting a bit, because today you still saw that Movistar, Ineos, not quite thinking Alaphilippe's going to hang, but he's there. He's not going anywhere. So up until now, they're taking control of the race. They're taking over. Jumbo-Visma took over. But now they're going to have to start thinking, you know what, maybe we shouldn't take over the control. Maybe we should start attacking, because he was by himself today the last couple of kilometers. If it was me and I was on one of those teams, I'd say, guys, off the front, let's start going one by one. If we have 3-4 guys up there, we're going to send one by one and try to, make him work. Today, he obviously they were all on the limit, but he didn't hit the wind until 200 meters to go.
Yeah. Will Alaphilippe and Deceuninck Quick-Step, will they get support from these smaller French teams that we rarely, or if not at all, talk about? Because
I would not be surprised.
Well, you're not going to get any support from Direct Energy, because he turned down their offer of €4 million to go there to stay with Deceuninck Quick-Step. But
I think you made a point you made when we were discussing this today. Like, what a day for France! Everything going on. Like, break that down.
They're on the moment. They're on the roller coaster train right now. They won the stage. Barguil, the French national champion, is super aggressive away the whole time. Comes back at the end. Alaphilippe keeps the jersey. The president is there at the finish line. I mean, it couldn't have gone any better for the country of France today, and I believe that'll incentivize them to at least have similar goals and tactics, and perhaps form some alliances. We're talking about French pride here. There's a lot on the line.
Yeah, they're on the moon.
Yeah, they're on the moon.
Speaking of the moon, 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 landing on the moon. My distant relative, also, not just Muhammad Ali, Neil Armstrong.
No.
Huh? Well, have you got two baller relatives like that? Who you got?
I do not.
Who else are you related to? Oprah?
I don't think I'm related to Oprah. She's my homie, but I don't think I'm related.
Brad Pitt? Who else are we going to add?
You got to stop taking this Muhammad Ali thing so serious. I don't know if you guys can pull up that picture.
Our man Joe.
The dude is walking around the house.
Whoa, what the hell?
He's walking around.
This is clearly a long time. This is from 2004.
No, I was there last night. You were getting ready for dinner, walking around like this. I'm like, what are you doing?
That's probably why I was so cranky, because you took a picture
of all of this.
But our man Joe is at it again. I mean, Dumb and Dumber wasn't enough. Laurel and Hardy wasn't enough. Let's cue. Whoa. Yes.
I love that one.
And if you just, for the listener at home, so it's out of Rocky, that fight against Ivan Drago. I'm Rocky, of course. George is Ivan Drago.
Wait, you're the one who went to some Russian team in your comeback.
You all roided up.
You should be Drago. I should be
so at the top it says, if he wins, he'll see you in the douches. Armstrong Hincapie, pre-We Do 50, the race before the race to settle the score at the end of the tour.
And I just got a new weapon in yesterday that I'll post a video of later today. I'm very excited about this. All the things are aligning for me right now.
Clearly he's nervous. He's getting new bikes.
By the way, if you want to see the photo we're talking about, check our socials. You need to be following Lance and George and We Do. You'll see that photo that they reference. Joe Natoli is our
And by the way, Joe, you have inspired a whole armada of people that are sending in these modified
Keep them coming.
photos.
We love them. Keep them coming.
While we're talking, do you want to talk about the upcoming race now, or do you want to finish up on tomorrow?
I'm gonna let my legs do the talking.
Because
Johan has a prediction.
A couple days ago on the additional show with Johan, I asked him, or listener asked, what his predictions are between the two of you.
And in case y'all hadn't been paying attention, George and I are racing over the We Do 50 course, the final day of the tour. So we're the actual We Do 50. Which is going to be my rematch, is September 15th. But he and I are going to, at probably 7 a.m., we're going to start. We got to start early. Because we got to come back and watch the Tour de France and then podcast about it. But that morning of the 28th, it's going down.
All right. I'm setting this out so you guys can hear it. Here is Johan's prediction.
It's difficult for me to say because I'm just going off the information I have and I hear. I mean, I haven't seen any of both on the bike. I know for a fact that George still thinks he's a professional rider. and that's the way he lives and takes care of himself. And I see him do exercises and foam roll and core stability and training, and he's still in great shape. He also raced till more recently than Lance. So that's one thing that's in George's advantage, of course. It's mountain biking. I don't know. I mean, I know Lance. Obviously, if this was 6 weeks ago or a month ago, I would say for sure George. I know that Lance, when he gets something in his head and he goes for it, he's serious about it, and whether people like to hear it or not, it's a fact that he's an incredible, talented athlete, has been and still is.
Correct.
Thank you.
I know that he can improve really quickly when he gets into a certain routine and takes things seriously, and he can improve really quickly. So I'm doubting. He has the advantage that it's a home race and he knows the course. So as for now, I would say if it's today, I would say advantage to George Hincapie.
Booyah!
Ask me the question in 1 week. I'll have some more information, and then maybe I don't know if I'm going to change my mind, but if it's today, it's George.
Okay. All right, great. That's well, you could have said that in about a tenth of the time.
Not to mention, last night I asked Lance if he wanted to meet up for a drink. His one-word response was regime, which means no. No drink. He's starting to get serious.
Yeah. But see, that's the beauty of Johan. He thinks everything through. He's very methodical, and he weighs all the options. So.
George, did you ever watch growing up? Did you ever watch Love Connection?
No. You
didn't? It was like Chuck Woolery was the host. He was like this real suave, debonair guy, this big rollie on, and when they would go so they pair up a guy and a girl, and they'd go on a date, and then they come back and talk about it and all this. And every time before they went to commercial break, and it was always the hand with the rollie. Mm-hmm. He would always be like, "Time for a commercial break. We'll be back in 2 and 2." And he did it just like that, 2 and 2. And then the rollie was just popping, 2 and 2. I just bring it up because Geraint Thomas is now down 2 and 2.
Oh,
yeah,
that's my point. You were like, "Where are we going here?"
Well,
down.
We got to talk about that. I mean, we were very surprised to see Geraint blow up. They asked Bernal how come he didn't wait for him at the finish, and he said they didn't tell me to wait. He said I'm never going to go against a team, but
he said that I didn't get any of this.
Well, I kind of pay attention to a lot of this stuff.
Ooh, that's interesting.
So Bernal said they didn't tell me on the radio to wait. It was about a kilometer to go. There wasn't much I could have done at that point anyway. He goes, but I'm not here to disrupt anything the team is doing. I'm just happy that I had a great ride today.
Yeah, so. He and Geraint Thomas said he felt bad all day long. Like from the beginning, he just didn't have it, and at the end, I mean, the last kilometer, he was literally pedaling squares. You're supposed to pedal circles. He looked.
Yeah, and Alaphilippe was kind of swinging at times too at the back of the peloton, which I think he kind of made the other teams just work for him because they were thinking he was struggling. They were probably trying to drop him as well, but clearly he was not struggling as bad as he looked like on TV at times.
Yeah. So is Ineos having to hedge their bets and keep Bernal in the game?
They're going to have to start, instead of riding
back to co-leader,
they're going to have to start attacking, either sending Bernal up the road or sending, obviously Geraint Thomas is not going to be able to sneak up the road, but I'd be surprised if they just can think that they're just going to ride people off their wheels after the last couple of days' performances.
All right, before we talk about tomorrow,
let's do a little bit of business here. Today's show is also brought to you by The Feed. What an awesome idea. I mean, what an idea. What a great idea. I mean, instead of you just going to the store or going online and just buying the same products you buy all the time, these guys have in stock 100 different brands where you can go in and just curate your own feed bag, right? What we would always call a musette, just like we would do when we race. We would tell the soigneurs, give me this, and this, and that, all different things. And I don't know why somebody didn't do this before. But Matt and his team over there at the feed, well, they just went and did it. I And just so you know, George, they're sending you a box. So I
I
curated.
already got it. I was just going to thank the feed for sending me
already
the
got
box.
it?
I'm building the army, bro, for my race, okay? I got the feed box.
So
I got everything I need for the 28th
I
now.
curated my own box for the race with George, and it's got all the usual stuff: the Stinger waffles, Stinger chews, Martin drink mix,
I don't see any ketones in there, bro.
Amp human cream. By the way, they do sell ketones.
I know.
And now that this talk of ketones, that the UCI is now going to investigate this.
You started that.
I did start it, and I actually regret it.
You ruined it for everybody. Socks. Nobody can wear compression socks now. Now nobody can take the ketones.
Oh, you're gonna start this shit again. You
Yep.
ruined it. What else? Yeah, ruined that. Come on. Anyways, and the cool thing about the guys at the feed too is as they're stocking these boxes to send out to people, they're watching the move. Like we got picture evidence of them sitting there stuffing the boxes.
By the way, bro, my box for the 28th is like 5 times the size of that one. Just so you know.
Well, you know what? A new bike, a box from the feed that's 5 times as big. You know, the other cool thing they do is if you have questions about nutritional stuff, they literally have coaches who will guide you through. If you say this is the race that I have coming up, or this is the issues I'm having, whether it's
I'm
cramping
deficient in
or
something
like that.
Wow.
They have actual people that will walk you through the process to curate your own box. You can chat with a human being like they used to do in the old days.
Interesting.
So to get our box, go to thefeed.com/themove. You get a free water bottle and a hydration pack or kit from scratch as well. That is thefeed.com/themove. I think I got that right. Oh, and also 25% off on our box. Last bit of business for the day until we get to, and we have another special guest today who's going to read the trivia question. But before we get to that,
Unless he gets injured coming to this,
you're gonna this little man has had a rough week. I mean, it's one thing when you break you have a problem on one of the arms. It's another thing when you get it on both the arms. Today's show is also brought to you by Amp Human PR Lotion. Again, full disclosure, we like this brand and this product and this technology so much. Us over at Next Ventures has invested here too. Jeff and his team have just done an amazing job. This, and actually, I don't think I told you guys this. So Higgs came in today. So the big hike, the most popular hike here in Aspen is the Ute. So his best time going up and down was 43 minutes. He used this cream yesterday. Dropped 3 minutes.
Wow.
Same effort.
Huh.
Like the stuff, it actually works.
and you feel better afterward too.
In recovery, amazing. One thing to note is that bicarbonate is really just a basic electrolyte. So to the UCI, please don't look into this. It buffers the evil of all endurance things, which is lactic acid. Both teams in the Super Bowl used it. Both teams in the Stanley Cup used it. Guys in this Tour de France are actually using it. Go to amphuman.com/themove. New contest. All right, we're just giving shit away. This is amazing. $1,000 package. $500 from Amp Human. $300 We Do gift card. Hello. $200 gift card from Competitive Cyclist, and it ends on the last day of the tour. So go to amphuman.com/themove. And if you want to buy some of the PR lotion, you can also go to amphuman.com, and the buy code for 25% off is the move. Boom. Let's talk about tomorrow.
All right, and then after that, we'll do the RoadID thing, we're going to talk about the spar competition before we go today. So tomorrow, what do you guys think? What are we looking at?
Go ahead, Lance.
You've got 4 categorized climbs. You got a category 2 and then 3 category 1s. I keep saying these climbs aren't that hard, but today proved me wrong again. And final climb is 12 kilometers at 7%. So it'll look. For Julian Alaphilippe, he's got to find friends. I think is the big story. He's going to lose everybody here.
Quick, the Koenig's major goal of the day is get everybody they can over that category 2 climb, so they can at least keep Alaphilippe out of trouble till these climbs where it'll be more of a mono battle once you get to the Cat 1 climbs. But I'd be shocked if I see the movie stars and the Ineoses and the Jumbo Vismas trying to control the pace and set tempo for them. Now I think they have to start getting aggressive and start attacking as opposed to riding.
I'd be shocked if I see any movie stars doing it either. Brad Pitt, George Clooney, they don't stand a chance to control that field. You know, you just said movie star.
Movie star, whatever, bro.
Movie star.
Whatever.
You know, and this thing about Quintana too, just the leaving the team, going to a small friend, something's not right. I don't get it.
You mean that because of that, the team, like they didn't go back for him today? They're like,
well, we touched on that when we talked about him leaving.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you? Why would you?
Right.
Unless you stood a real chance to win, and you just sort of take it and then say see you later. But yeah, I mean, why would you?
Make that paper, bro. He's making that paper.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's longer. It's 185 kilometers. This will be another fun one to watch.
Yeah, I mean, back-to-back hard days. Time trial yesterday.
Yep.
Mountaintop finish today, and then another mountaintop finish.
Will anyone get away, or will this be will this be the heads of state like today?
This could be a breakaway, George.
This could be a breakaway.
Yeah, I think so.
Because De Koenig would be very interested in letting a large breakaway that has no real GC threat in there get as much time as possible so they can ride as easy as possible and get over that category 2 climb. The director in the morning will be like, guys, I don't care what you do, you have to make it over this climb to be in this valley before those last 3 climbs, because you saw today they didn't have any guys left there in the last climb, so they got to stay with Alaphilippe as long as they can. And
then day after tomorrow is a rest day, so they know they have a day to chill. Patron of the day, I think we should probably do that. It has to be Thibaut Pinot.
Yes.
I mean, what else are you going to say?
Kreiswick is a sleeper. I mean, the guy's just getting better and better.
I thought about that.
He's got arguably now one of the best climbing teams behind him. I mean, he's looking better and better to me.
Yeah. I'm with you, man. And his team. How about George Bennett just pulling? I just read a quote from Kreiswick at the finish line. He said he had to ask them to slow down.
Oh, is that what we thought he was saying? Speed up.
We thought he was saying pick it up, and he just said here at the finish line. He said, "Boys, let's slow down a little bit."
Yeah.
So, should we do?
Think about that. If in fact those rumors are true that Demoulin's going there, Roglic comes back. I mean, this will be a team that will be almost unstoppable.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about next year.
Ask Johan today about Roglic, because he and I had a conversation about all these transfers and people leaving Movistar, people going to Jumbo-Visma. You know, he has a very strong opinion about Roglic going to Movistar. He thinks he thinks if he goes to Movistar, he wins the Tour de France.
Okay.
Really?
I'm jotting it down. We'll do it on the show today.
Yeah. Let's do a little trivia here for RoadID. If somebody wants to win $10,000 a BMC shopping spree. What's so crazy is like George it's like he won the contest because he just walked into the studio with a $10,000 BMC
yes,
bike.
Thank you, BMC.
Dude,
hang on video later.
They're not paying to advertise on yours. Chill.
You said it. I'm just saying
Why don't
thank
you. Sell some clothes and some fondos and whatever else. God.
Did he not say it?
It's amazing.
Did he not bring it up?
So our special guest today, and this is one of my oldest buddies from Austin, his son who... I knew him before he was even born. If that's even possible. Is that possible to know somebody before they're born? But Owen Russey, son of Derek Russey, has what? Hang on, you're not ready yet, Owen. Just right. I'll cue you when you're ready.
Big entrance.
This is the intro of you. Has gotten to be just a badass mountain biker, and they were here in Aspen for a few weeks, riding Sky Mountain Park, and for people that have ridden it, they've quote unquote sharpened up the deadline descent with some pretty gnarly features. I mean, you can get, as is evidenced by when you'll see Owen, you can get some pretty serious air. So poor Owen yard sailed the other day, broke the collarbone, collarbone in the arm or the wrist and the collarbone. So I just thought, this little guy, we need a little pick me up for him. And so come on in here, Owen, and read us today's RoadID trivia question. And then you got to read the 4 multiple choices.
To make it worse, it's the collarbone on one side and the wrist on the other.
Have a seat. You just got to talk.
Is he eating like a bird, just pecking at the plate?
Just start right there with the quote.
A mere victory of any tour champion Go to roadid.com/France to answer the question and score a chance to win today's daily prize, a pair of CD Shot cycling shoes. One lucky winner will even take home a 10,000 BMC shopping spree. Again, that's...
And then there's the question. You got to read that at A.
A mere 8 seconds.
Wait. Hang on. Let me lead it in. Hang on. Here is the question. I like that.
At a mere 8 seconds, who owns the smallest margin of victory of any tour champion? Greg LeMond, Jan Jansen,
Texans.
Stefan Roche, Alberto Contador.
All right.
All right.
Boom.
Good job.
Thanks, Owen. You're hired. So there it was. At a mere 8 seconds, who owns the smallest margin? I mean, if you don't know the answer to this one, like everybody knows, there's drums with me and this guy, but
Drums.
It's what got me.
He needs to hang out with the Lance 3.0. He might.
Eh,
Hang on, here comes some live watch.
it got me. When I watched this person win the tour by 8 seconds, I was like, that's it. That's what I got to do. That. I was doing triathlons at the time. I was like, I need to race bikes, and I need to try to win the Tour de France at some point. So it was highly, highly inspirational and motivational. Fact.
No, that goes back to the conversation about American riders. You need that hero, right?
Yep.
Yeah. No, you got to have that spark.
Yep. Very good.
All right.
And we also, very important, if you want to participate in the SPAR competition,
Yep.
today is the day to get your 10 miles in.
Yeah,
If you're
you gotta
going to
start
take
today.
this seriously, it's a competition that Lance started with the SPAR app.
Right.
It's such a new app. Unfortunately, it's only in iOS right now, not Android. But if you want to participate and commit to 10 miles of riding a day
For 10 days.
for 10 days,
You tap out, it's $10, right? And so, and you can also go to lance.getspar.com. And this was all inspired by my good buddy, the best-selling author Ryan Holiday, who was issuing all these crazy challenges, not cycling challenges, but just sort of personal self-improvement challenges, stuff that, like we talk about every day, like not looking at your phone for 30 minutes. I could never, like I lose. I'm out of the challenge.
but it's pretty simple. I noticed today it now says upload your evidence. Basically,
Right.
It's you just shoot a short video of your cyclometer or
almost
Strava or
almost
whatever
like
you
an
do.
Instagram story. I mean,
Whatever you do to measure your distance.
We'll make a video of the bike computer, or you can make a video of one of these mapping sites pulled up.
But it starts today and goes on 10 days.
10 days.
You could pick up some extra cash.
George, you think you can do that?
I can probably do it, but I'm
You're
worried
gonna
about
be
the
flying.
travel day.
You're going to be flying. When as soon as you get home, you got to wait. What time do you fly on
No,
Monday?
I fly at like 2:30 from Vail.
Well, then you can do it.
Yeah.
And then do you ride on tennis days?
Yeah, I got tennis today, and we're biking right after this.
All right.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Send those questions and comments for future shows.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. Send it to the move at wedo.team.
This tour just isn't. It's just not disappointing. I mean, it is. It's fun.
Look for fireworks tomorrow, even more.
Yeah. Cool. Easy peasy.